Shalum, Shalum and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. Welcome to this series called The Final Exodus Countdown 2023. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation, to those who are drawn by the Almighty Creator Yahuah to Yahusha Mashiach, as it is written in John 6:44. To those who come to discover that the Spirit of Yahuah was sent in Yahusha's name, as described in John 14:26. The realities of end times are unfolding before our very eyes. In the midst of all the uncertainty, in the midst of pandemic, chaos, and pain, in the midst of unanswered questions, in the midst of the unveiling of contradictory preachings and teachings, will come chosen leaders led by the Almighty Father, by his Spirit sent in Yahusha's name. And they will direct instructions and warnings, living orders before a set-apart nation. If you are one who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, who believe you are drawn to him by Yahusha Mashiach, that he is drawing you to his word, to understand and forge a relationship with him, I consider you my brother, my sister, my family. In this segment of the Final Exodus Countdown 2023, and if you listen to this for the first time, if you look at the installments 1 and 2 of this series, Final Exodus Countdown 2023, I explain how I arrived at December 21st, 2023. Normally, I don't use dates, but I am compelled that this is a significant date as it relates to the final Exodus, my brothers and sisters. In this sequence of messages that I have entitled Set Apart Yashar'al in Motion, this is the 7th installment of that sequence. I want to bring your attention to the words bullseye, crosshairs, precision. But before I continue, let me say this. The views expressed in these messages do not reflect the owners, managers, shareholders, and or sponsors of this media platform. With that said, let me say this. End times will prove the Almighty Yahuah will reach targets, all targets. Come with me, O Yashar'al. While there are those who will prefer to put you in a false sense of security and comfort, there's much work to be done. Come, hear these words, O set-apart ones. It would be wise to know the importance of obedience. Bullseye, crosshairs, precision. Keep those words in mind as I go through this message. 1 Samuel 12:15. Come with me there. 1 Samuel 12:15. It reads, but if you do not obey the voice of Yahuah and shall rebel against the mouth of Yahuah, then the hand of Yahuah shall be against you as it was against your fathers. Look throughout the scriptures, my brothers and sisters. When the hand of Yahuah came, he didn't miss his target. All whom was designated to benefit the goodness of his favor received it. All those who received the consequences received it. They were right in the mark. And with precision, the Almighty Father executed all that he has done, from good to vengeance to wrath. Come with me also to 1 Samuel 15:22. It says, then Samuel said, does Yahuah delight in ascending offering and slaughterings, as in obeying the voice of Yahuah? Look, to obey is better than slaughtering. To heed is better than the fat of rams. Some translations will say obedience is better than sacrifice. Let me continue, O Yashar'al. Let me read the following. And as I read it, answer this question. Do you believe that the Almighty Father put things out of place? Was anything out of place as a result of the Almighty Father making a mistake? Absolutely not. Let me read the following. Genesis 1:7 says, "And the Almighty One made the expanse and separated the waters which were under the expanse from the waters which was above the expanse. And it came to be so." Drop down to verse 16. I'm still in the first chapter of Genesis. "And the Almighty One made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars." Drop to the 25th verse of Genesis, first chapter. "And the Almighty One made the beast of the earth according to his kind, livestock according to his kind, and all that creep on the earth according to his kind. And the Almighty One saw that it was good." Now, do we hear tell of the Almighty Father saying, "Oops, my bad. I put the fish on the land and I put the cattle in the sea. Oops, I made man in the water and he was supposed to be on land"? There was nothing out of place. He hit the bullseye. He hit the target. Within his crosshairs, with precision, the Almighty Father created all that is. There's a point to this, O Yashar'al, as we begin to move in towards this final exodus, as we come to these final days. There will be no mistakes by the Almighty Father, not by him. Any mistakes would be mistakes that we exact. Let me continue. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, it would be wise to discern when scriptures apply to us today. You see, there's the literal, there's the spiritual. There are things that apply today, things that we must take heed to that can be applicable to our lives today. My brothers and sisters, let me pause for a minute to say something. My heart's desire is to meet those drawn by the Almighty Father. My heart's desire is to meet individuals who want to get closer with one another, to be used by the Almighty Father to demonstrate his love, his actions, to experience the joy and set apart obedience, to experience the power and might that he have endowed us with, to be able to shout hallelujah, to be able to demonstrate and make his presence known before the world. But so many people think church is just about getting together once or twice a week, laughing and joking. It's time we get to know one another. We say we love one another. We say, I love you. But have we experienced the love of Yahusha within us? And have we demonstrated that? Have we allowed that flow to move to us, each one towards another? The scriptures, though you've heard me say that they have been tampered with, vis-a-vis, there was no Jesus Christ or Lord in the original text. There was no holy, the word God or Lord. Man has tampered with the scriptures, but they cannot tamper with the Spirit of Yahuah. The written text, though they've been tampered with, they are still as pointers to those who earnestly seek the Almighty Father. And he makes known what he means, what he wants to be demonstrated, what he wants and expects from us by making the letter alive as it is written. Come with me, Yashar'al, and I ask you the question right now. Are these conditions occurring today? And if so, are we preparing to meet the Almighty One? Come with me to Amos, 4th chapter, verse 6 through 13. Amos, 4th chapter, verse 6 through 13. And I also gave you cleanness of teeth in all your cities, and lack of bread in all your places, but you did not turn back to me, declares Yahuah. And I also withheld rain from you 3 new moons before the harvest. Then I would send rain on one city, and on another city I would not send rain. One part was rained upon, and where it did not rain, the other part would dry up. Then 2 or 3 cities would wander to another city to drink water, but they were not satisfied. But you did not turn back to me, declares Yahuah. I have stricken you with blight and mildew. The creeping locust devoured your many gardens and your vineyards and your fig trees and your olive trees. But you did not turn back to me, declares Yahuah. I have sent among you a plague in the way of Mitzrayim. I have killed your young men with a sword along with your captured horses. And I made the stench of your camps come up into your nostrils. But you did not turn back to me, declares Yahuah. I have overthrown some of you as the Almighty One overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And you were like a burning stick plucked from the burning. But you did not turn back to me, declares Yahuah. Therefore I am doing this to you, O Yashar'al, and because I do this to you, prepare to meet your Almighty One, O Yashar'al. For look, he who forms mountains, create winds, and who declares that man what his thought is, and makes the morning darkness, and who treads the high places of the earth. Yahuah, the Almighty One of hosts, is his name. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, are we witnessing in parts of the earth where the rain is held back, and in some cities it's raining, and some people are moving from one city to the next to keep pace with being ahead and away from droughts? He who formed mountains, as I read in the 13th verse, are we witnessing earthquakes in diverse places? More earthquakes across the planet? Creates the wind. Do we see the wind, the jet streams turning, flowing in different ways and means? Some creating hurricanes, some resulting in tornadoes. Is the result of our neglect for this planet. Our neglect as a result of our greed led to the very destruction that we are facing as a result of climate change and global warming? Who has given thought when the Almighty Father talks about a new heaven and a new earth? Do you not think we have polluted this planet? And when the Almighty Father gave us cleanliness of teeth as famine is growing, we see the narrative that man is trying to present is putting plastic in foods, fillers in foods, to hide the famine that is growing widely. They're trying all types of things, so many different additives to our food. So the things that the Almighty Father exact from famine to pestilence, from earthquakes to storms, do you think he's missing his target? Or is he hitting it right dead center? Consider these words, O Yashar'al. Proverbs 2:22 says, but the wrong shall be cut off from the earth, and the treacherous ones plucked out of it. You think he's going to miss? Think again. Psalms 135, 6-12. Come with me there, O Yashar'al. Psalms 135, 6-12. Yahuah has done whatever pleased him in the heavens and in the earth, in the seas, and in all the depths, causing vapors to go up from the ends of the earth. He made lightning for the rain, bringing forth wind from his treasuries. Who struck the firstborn of Mitzrayim from man to beast. He sent signs and wonders into your midst, O Mitzrayim, O Pharaoh and all his servants. Who struck many nations and killed mighty sovereigns. Even Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, and all the reigns of Canaan. And he gave their land as an inheritance to Yashar'al, his people. My brothers and sisters, do you think he missed? Would it be safe to say that the Almighty Father is a sharpshooter? Can get right dead on target, hit the bullseye, right within the crosshairs. He sees what needs to be done for his children. Let me ask you this question, O Yashar'al. You see, bullseyes and crosshairs doesn't always mean something bad is going to happen. It could be he's target this person or that person or these individuals to pull to safety. He's targeted them to be covered and protected. You see, as these end times come, we will learn to adjust our perception quickly and not just perceive things one separate way as some may have been conditioned. Do you think that the Almighty Father ever sent his messengers to go get someone, to move someone here or there? Read the story of Lot, and you will see that messengers led Lot and his family out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Right on target, right on time. So will it be in this final Exodus. Let me ask you this question, my brothers and sisters. How close are you to those who will be gathered? Are they in walking distance? Driving distance? How long would it take for you to begin to get to those who are being gathered from the four corners of the earth? If you believe this will happen before the physical return of Yahusha, it's time, O Yashar'al, for us to get to know each other. It's time for us to understand the importance of proximity and movement. One of the hardest things for people to do is move, let alone some distance. But I say to you, O Yashar'al, I strongly encourage you to read the series, The Closing Scroll, on this channel, White Rose Family Channel. The Closing Scroll, my brothers and sisters, I strongly encourage you to listen to it. Take a moment, O Yashar'al, and act as though you have a sight with crosshairs on it and point it to the earth and zero in and begin to put an X on countries, geographic areas that are becoming more and more uninhabitable each day. And I submit to you, as you begin to do that, you will discover there are migrations, mass migrations from those areas. From those areas, hundreds of thousands of people, in some cases millions. It will soon begin to be that way in the Western Hemisphere, specifically in the northern part of the Western Hemisphere. Soon, millions will be migrating away from the areas that will become destroyed as a result of earthquakes, volcanic activity, storms, sea level rise. Forced migrations is coming to bring man back to the region where life began. If you study the scriptures, you will see that the Garden of Eden is in proximity to the Euphrates River and 3 other major rivers. You will see when Yahuah created man, it was in the proximity known truly as Northeastern Africa, or some may even say the Middle East. There was no Middle East in years past. And if you search the scriptures before the physical return of Yahusha, you will see that there was nations, wicked nations, gathering together to battle, to wage war against the gathered of Yashar'al, against the set-apart children of Yashar'al. And it says they met in the valley of Megiddo. So you see, O Yashar'al, if you really begin to look at habitable places, where life began, so will it end. And we who are Yashar'al, that are gathered from the 4 corners of the earth, consisting of Hebrews and Gentiles drawn by the Almighty Father, we will be centered around the true Mount Sinai, the true mountain of Yahuah, commonly known as Jabal al-Lawz. This requires movement. How close are you to those that will be gathered? It's time to start asking. It's time to get familiar with those you believe may accompany you, or you may accompany them in this final exodus. Are you familiar with these words, O Yashar'al? Listen to these words, my brothers and sisters. Matthew 5th chapter, verse 43 through 48. It reads, "You heard that it was said, you should love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless those cursing you. Do good to those hating you. Pray for those insulting you and persecuting you, so that you become sons of your Father in the heavens, because he makes the sun rise on the wicked and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous." Let me pause for a minute. He says here, love your enemies. He didn't say love the wickedness that they may do. He said love your enemies. Love is doing what's right. Love is doing what's right. If it meant giving the enemy a morsel of bread, do so. If it requires you to come away from your enemy, do so. Remember, no house divided against itself can stand. Love your enemy with the love that Yahusha has shown us. Think about the love that he's shown us. He has set us apart. He has brought us away. He has sometimes prepared our table in the midst of our enemies. He has sometimes killed our enemies. So when they say love your enemies with the love that Yahusha has, which can have many dynamics to it. Yashar'al, we must begin to look at the life in the scriptures. Bless those cursing you. There are brothers and sisters unlearned, still on milk, that will curse you and don't know any better. So what could it mean, bless those that's cursing you? It means at times Yahuah may want you to give them food or water, or show them some compassion if they are hurt or injured. You see, sometimes, my brothers and sisters, there's that loved one. There's actually that brother or sister that you didn't know is your brother. They're being drawn by the Almighty Father, and they're still on milk. They are as newborn babe and don't know any better. It's not telling us to be passive. Verse 45, 545 in Matthew's. So that you become sons of your Father in the heavens, because he makes the sun rise on the wicked and on the good. He sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. You see, as destruction comes, it doesn't mean that all set apart ones will not experience death. In some cases, cataclysmic death. Catastrophic, extreme death. But these earthen vessels have an appointment to go back to the earth from which they came. But we who are children of Yahuah know that our spirit will go to him. Wherever that place of rest is, he will have us rest until the day of resurrection. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, bullseyes, crosshairs, precision, as earthquake in diverse places come, as volcanic activity come. Do you think the Almighty Father is going to say, wait, don't do anything until every last child of mine is out the way? No, my brothers and sisters. He reigns on the just and the unjust. There are those he will have move out the way, and there are those he will have that will die in place. He won't miss the target. He will be precise and demonstrate the precision that we would have thought would have been otherwise. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, there's so much teaching, so many teaching, a false sense of security and comfort to have you believe that we do not have a responsibility to demonstrate to the world that we understand these earthen vessels will return back to the earth. He goes on here to say, for if you love those loving you, what reward have you? Are the tax collectors not doing the same too? And if you greet your brothers only, what do you do more than others? Are the tax collectors not doing so? Therefore, be perfect as your Father in the heavens is perfect. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, we must understand the importance of precision, who we target, and how we treat them. Yashar'al, we must beware of those that present a sense of comfort, using words like all of us. Every last set-apart child will not be gathered from the four corners of the earth before the physical return of Yahusha. Remember, the scriptures even talk about some led astray or fallen away. The scriptures even talk about babes, unlearned. The scriptures even talk about delivering one to Satan, that for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved. The scriptures even talk about gathering from the four corners of the earth those that he had made for his esteem to fulfill that. So when people start telling you all, and now you can go and find a passage that say not one was left behind. You can go and find a passage that say all of my children are brought. And they would say, see, he's lying. See that verse? Well, if you use your comprehension and depend on that text, what about the verse that talks about dying for Yahusha's name? They were left behind. What about those who are babes? What about those led astray? They were left behind. So when they say all, it's all that he has chosen to fulfill that specific prophecy, O Yashar'al. As it relates to the final Exodus, not all will go. And I have stated it will be mostly children. And what I find ironic in making that statement, years ago, I saw someone who I believe disregard that we are the true Hebrews. And he said children. And when I heard him say it, I went back to see when I first mentioned it. And it was months before he ever said it. And I consider that individual either stating what is true, or since he failed to acknowledge who we are, I consider him an ark thief. An ark thief are those who take words of set apartness, words of instruction, words of warning from the Almighty Father, and how he uses those to get certain words out and use those words for their own self-gain. Just like the ark, when the Philistines got the ark, thought they would be powerful and thought they would have all the fame and fortune that Yashar'al experienced. And they saw that that led to their demise, many of them. And they gave the ark back. But let me go on, O Yashar'al. Don't fall for a sense of comfort. Don't fall for people saying, oh yeah, all of us going. Now sure, when Yahusha returned and the dead in Messiah are resurrected and we all are caught up in the twinkling of an eye to be brought back to a new heaven and a new earth, sure, everybody will be gathered then. But in terms of this Exodus, we must discern. There will be some people that will protect those that are being gathered as they journey towards the destinations that ultimately lead towards the promised land. I believe, O Yashar'al, and I've said this on many occasions, that I am charged with contributing towards the gathering of Yashar'al in the Western Hemisphere, and that I believe that gathering will happen in the state of Virginia. Some will say the Commonwealth of Virginia. And as people begin to journey towards Virginia in mass numbers, there'll be others that will guard and protect them along the journey. There will be those that will be as rest stops along this journey, where people can replenish, rest, fuel up, and then continue to journey eastward towards Virginia for those on the Western Hemisphere. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, believe it or not, over all the years, these last several decades, I have seen things that the Almighty Father has shown me, and I've presented them in writing, or is documented in recording, in audio or video. And for such a time as this, my confidence grows stronger as I see the things that the Almighty Father has shown me coming to fruition. But there are those who don't want to tell you the truth. There are those who would rather give you a false sense of security. It's time to get to know one another, my brothers and sisters. It's time to set our sights on those drawn by the Almighty Father. And just as one shooting for the target, let that target be a brother or sister to draw closer to. Whether we're using a sight, figuratively speaking, let's identify those in the crosshairs of set apartness and those in the crosshairs of the bullseye to come away from. We must recognize the need to be precise in our goings and coming, O Yashar'al. Remember these words, for many are chosen, many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14, many are called, but few are chosen. Do you think the Almighty Father makes mistakes? Think again, O Yashar'al. Let us prepare to identify individuals who will deliver messages on target. They're going to deliver a message to you individually, to us collectively, to small groups, as small groups merge into bigger groups. Let us understand the importance of precision, Yashar'al. Discuss these matters. It would be wise to identify when to admit you just don't know. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot that needs to be done. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, what say you? Are you preparing to work? Are you slowful? Are you seeking to identify what the Almighty Father has designated for you? My brothers and sisters, don't be led astray. Strengthening one another is very important. Consider these words, my brothers and sisters. Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first. And the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called the Almighty One, or that is worship, so that he sits as the Almighty One in a dwelling place, showing himself that he is the Almighty One. Do not remember that I told you this while I was still with you. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, bear with me for a second. I want to come back to this slide where I say it would be wise to identify and admit that you just don't know. When to admit when you just don't know. I heard a teacher who calls himself a Watchman would rather say that he don't see Yashar'al coming together in this final exodus until Yahusha returns. So therefore, he went on to say he don't believe that's going to happen before Yahusha returns. I heard a Morey say, well, I don't see how these Negroes, quote unquote, going to get together in unity before the physical return of the Mashiach, Yahusha. And because he couldn't see it, he would rather say he don't believe it's going to happen. Now, he may have changed his position because it was years since we had that conversation. But I say to you, Yashar'al, look around. Extreme humbling times bring about discipline and perfecting the body of Yashar'al. It's okay to say, I don't know. But many of these teachers are strong influencers, these pastors, these mores, these priests, these bishops. They would rather present to you a narrative that they believe just because they cannot discern what is happening and what's going to happen. Press on Yashar'al. Answers will come. Things will become clearer as the days press forward. The falling away. Do you think it would be by mistake? We should strengthen one another to minimize the falling away, to reduce the number of brothers and sisters that may fall to the side, and not put ourselves in a position where we regret that we did not talk to the brother, the sister, regarding how to avoid being led astray. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let me read the following to you. Romans chapter 12, verse 4 and 5 reads, "For as we have many members in one body, but all members do not have the same function, so we, the many, are one body in Messiah and members each one of one another." We must understand the importance of being members of this one body, each one to another. Come with me also to Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. Galatians chapter 6, verse 2. It reads, "Bear one another's burdens and so complete the Torah of Messiah." Torah means instructions. Although there are those who will have you believe that Torah is just the first 5 books of Moshe or Musha, it means instructions. The Almighty Father, when he makes the scriptures alive, he provides living instructions. When he worked through us one towards another, he provides living instructions. When he worked through our chosen pastors, preachers, priests, bishops, whatever office of service the shepherd has been given, when he worked through him, instructions is given. Are there those who are disobedient? Are there those who are caught up in their own egos? Yes. Are there wicked community heads, pastors, priests, bishops, spiritual influencers? Yes, there are. Some will be disciplined beyond measure and rise up stronger than you could have ever imagined. And some we will come away from, and some will face physical death and removed as obstacles by the hand of the Almighty Father. He will set the bullseye on his children for the purpose of movement, and he will set his bullseye on the rebellion and disobedient for the purpose of destruction, O Yashar'al. Crosshairs, there is good and there is the dreadful, but it will happen with precision. Do not be in the way of what the Almighty Father is about to do in these coming days. Make sure you choose your side wisely. Let me continue, O Yashar'al. Believe and receive set-apart instructions. It is important to be in the right place at the right time, lest you find yourselves engulfed in the destruction that is coming, O Yashar'al. Wouldn't it just be a big contradiction to say we believe the scriptures to be true, end times to be true, to echo Matthew 24, Luke 21, talking about end times, but yet we show no efforts to be working towards the preparation for our final exodus? Soon this will change. Soon. Consider these words, my brothers and sisters. Choosing the right side could mean life or death. Let me give you an example. Come with me to Numbers 16th chapter. Numbers 16th chapter. For it reads, starting with the 28th verse, Numbers 16:28. And Moshe said, "By this you know that Yahuah has sent me to do all these works, and that they are not from my own heart. If these die, as all men do, and if they were visited as all men are visited, then Yahuah has not sent me." He's speaking of Dathan, Korah, and Abiram, who rebelled against them, who doubted Yahuah had put him in the leadership at this particular time. They rebelled. It goes on to say, "But if Yahuah creates what is unheard of, and the earth opens its mouth and swallows them up with all their belongings to them, and they go down alive into the grave," it says Sheol, this grave, then you shall know that these men have scorned Yahuah. And it came to be, as he ended speaking all these words, that the ground under them split apart, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up with their households, all the men with Korah, with all their goods. So they and all those with them went down alive into the grave, into Sheol. And the earth closed over them, and they perished from the midst of the assembly. Yashar'al, Yashar'al. It is my belief this is probably the first major documentation of a sinkhole. And I say to you, with precision, right on target, the Almighty Father took out those who was rebelling against his directions, his orders. And just as we saw such things happen in times past, we will see events similar happen in the coming days. There will be brothers and sisters who will speak with the boldness as directed by the Almighty Father. There will be sinkholes that will prevent those who try to stop the final exodus from coming to be. Pray and watch, O Yashar'al. My brother, my sister, being in the bullseye or crosshairs of one who is precise could be good or bad. I could have worded this differently. I could have said, set your sights on the person on the left, the person on the right. Set your sights forward. Set your sights on what Yahusha is saying. But be on target. Be on point. Be on time. And depending on what the actions will be, will determine whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Perception will dictate how you respond to discipline and vengeance or wrath. Now, I'm saying you, but how we respond is based on our perception. You see, Yashar'al, the Almighty Father promised three major things in these final days. Discipline. Read Hebrews 12, the whole chapter. Read Revelation 3:19. And you see he disciplined those whom he loved, those who are his children. And it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Almighty Father. He will exact vengeance, and his wrath will come against those who have attacked his children. Yashar'al, Yashar'al, discipline, vengeance, and wrath. As destruction come, as earthquakes ramp up, as volcanic activities become more and more, as tsunamis, storms, and tornadoes, as sea level rise, as wars, famine, pestilence, and disease, as destruction comes, O Yashar'al, it will come with the precision of the orders from the Almighty Father. And we who are his, if our perception is this is his plan unfolding, and we're not removed from the destruction, we still pray because we know these earthen vessels must go back to the ground. We know he reigns on the just and the unjust. He's not holding things back for the purposes of waiting for every last brother or sister to be out the way. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. Bullseye. Crosshairs. Precision. What do you think you're targeted to do? What do you think will happen to you? Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. We must begin to discern what type of mark or target will you be, and to whom? And for what reason? Safety comes, refuge comes. Let me read a passage in Proverbs that I don't have on here that I want to bring to your attention, Yashar'al. Bear with me. It talks about refuge, and it's in Proverbs. I want to read two. Proverbs 14:26 say, in the fear of Yahuah is strong trust. See, I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but there's the fear of what man can do, and there's the fear of Yahuah. Proverbs 14:26 says, in the fear of Yahuah is strong trust, and his children have a place of refuge. My brothers and sisters, let me also read, that was Proverbs 14:26. Proverbs 30:5 says, every word of Allah is tried. He is a shield to those taking refuge in him. We must understand what that ultimate refuge is. It is our spirit in the hands of the Almighty Father. There will be times our physical body will prove to be protected and covered, targeted by him for protection, to fulfill certain duties and tasks that he has given us. Let me read Matthew 3:10. It reads, and the axe is already laid to the root of the trees. Every tree then which does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Take it as you will, O Yashar'al. A tree that does not produce good fruit has an appointment and a place. Luke 6:22 says, blessed are you when men shall hate you, and when they shall cut you off and shall reproach you and cast out your name as wicked for the sake of the son of Adam. In other words, my brothers and sisters, there are the wicked ones who will target us. Some of us will be martyrs for Yahusha's name. But if we face physical death for Yahusha's name, then so be it. Consider yourself blessed. Luke 22:49-51 reads as follows. Come with me there. Luke 22:49-51. And those around him, seeing what was about to take place, said to him, Master, shall we strike with the sword? And one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Yahusha answered and said, allow it this far, and touching his ear, he healed him. Wrong target. If you read in other accounts, you will see it was Kepha or Peter. He had the wrong target. The wrong person was in his crosshairs. He wasn't precise. He cut off the ear, and anybody in his mind, he used precision to cut the ear off this high priest. But in Yahusha's mind, it was not precision of obedience. And he was rebuffed. And the priest's ear was healed. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, the things we do, the things we say, the recipients are as targets. So are we presenting results that are good or wrong? Come with me, O Yashar'al, as I continue. The time for choosing wisely is now. Ask questions, Yashar'al. Ask questions. Dig deep. Get to know. There are too many brothers and sisters that says, well, you don't know, you can't understand me unless you walked in my shoes, and you don't know me. How you going to judge me? But yet they say they believe the scriptures. They forget so quickly how Yahusha demonstrated how he can know the thoughts of people. That the scriptures say Yahusha works in us, through us, one towards another, and can reveal things to us. I have experienced Yahusha revealing much for decades. And I have no doubt that true discernment is when the Spirit of Yahusha reveals the unknown, the unseen, the hidden. And I have had many occasions where people say, you don't know. And I spoke with confidence. When I first experienced discernment, I didn't know what it was. I thought every mature child of Yahusha could experience it and knew it and should know it. That wasn't the case. It's possible, but that wasn't the case. And I've had times when I spoke boldly about an individual and they spoke in a group saying I was lying and I didn't know what I was talking about. And days later, some cases weeks later, months later, years later, they confessed before others who witnessed them lying and said, the brother was right. I was just in shock that he knew it. I was surprised that it was revealed to him. My brothers and sisters, I went through the school of understanding what discernment is. We can't make Yahusha reveal to us what we want him to reveal to us. We can't make him say to us what we want him to say to us. But as he sees fit, he reveals, he uncovers, he makes known. The time is now, Yashar'al, to begin to begin to realize how to discover the presence of the voice of Yahusha. And I say to you, I say to anyone, most often, and I don't know everything, but most often, if I present something that I believe is set apart and a person has trouble receiving it, most often, if they are honest, they have a stronghold that they don't want to let go of. They have a vice, they have a habit that's sinful and wicked that blocks them from receiving what Yahusha wants them to see and hear, to bring them into correction. I've tested that on many occasions. And even the things that I speak of, there are many teachers and mores, pastors, community heads that disagree with what I'm saying. And it's not about me, but you think they'll ask, how did I come to that? How did I conclude that? No, they've taken the habits, a habit that is akin to an old wives' tale. There was an old wives' tale where there was 4 generations at a gathering, and the daughter asked the mother, why do you cut the end off of a pot roast? The mother said, I don't know. My mother did it. So the daughter went to grandma. Grandma, why do you cut the ends off a pot roast? Grandma said, I don't know. My mother did it. And it just so happened great-grandma was alive. So she went to great-grandma. Why do you cut the ends of off of a pot roast, great-grandma? She said, I never had a pan big enough. So her daughters followed a habit that they never asked questions about, that they never dug deep into. This holds true with Shabbat. This holds true with guarding a day, when a day begins and ends. This holds true when it comes to hemming your garment with a purple cord versus phylacteries, such as fringes or zitzits. Though those are mentioned in the text that's been tampered with, the Almighty Father seek his spirit and he will say, no, my orders was for a cord of purple to hem your garments neatly. And man in their vanity changed the words to deceive. Even with a new moon, many have taken on a teaching that's been passed down from generation to generation incorrectly, talking about a sliver or a dark moon. The new moon is the full moon. And what could be interpreted as a month, every cycle the full moon comes, the Almighty Father lights up the night sky to extend time to get more of the harvest, to get more of the bounty, of the grain, the fruit that he has given to Yashar'al. And he lights up the night sky. So the new moon, the full moon, is to be honored, thanking the Almighty Father for that extended light to harvest. If you search out harvest time for different vegetables and fruits and grains, you will see some will have more than one yield in a year's time. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, these mores, teachers, pastors, community heads, spiritual influencers have taken on habits and beliefs Yashar'al, Yashar'al. Now you might say, what make you the correct authority on this? And I say in the name of Yahusha, this is what I asked of you. Line up each of these individuals who have these different beliefs, including me. And consider us, looking at us as a glass of water that's a glass filled with water. And they began to examine and vet each one of us. Which one of us exhibit more set apartness and instruction to you to be strong, for you to grow strong, for you to draw closer to Yahusha Mashiach versus the other? Look at the mistakes, look at the flaws, look at the instructions that's going forward for such a time as this. And if you see a lot of mistakes, a lot of things not being said to you, a lot of things not happening for you to draw closer, consider that as sticks and stones and rubbish, garbage being taken out of the glass of water. And when you get done, look at each one of us and ask yourself, which one holds the most water? Which one holds the most set apart instructions and directions for you to grow stronger as a member of this body of Yashar'al? Watch, O Yashar'al, for in this final exodus, do not get angry at the one who delivers the message, for it's the Almighty Father who chooses. But I can assure you, it will not be a compromised bunch. It will not be a nation set apart with division on beliefs. There will not be an agree to disagree nation of compromises. With precision, dead on point, Yashar'al will return to the promised land centered around the true Mount Sinai, which is currently called Yahusha, which would be the bullseye, the target. That's the mountain of Yahuah that's in the crosshairs where we would go in these final days. And I will talk about details of the preparation, movement, more so than what I have presented already. What say you, O Yashar'al? Are your leaders, are your pastors, are your community head asking questions, seeking a dialogue, or are they trying to demonstrate to you that they got it all and they haven't found anybody that can give them any kind of instruction? Failure to realize that the Spirit of Yahusha can work through any one of their flock and speak correction to them is wicked. Failure to pay attention. Busy trying to say, no, coming up with excuses. Let me explain this and let me explain that. Or trying to divert you, saying, no, it's the Hebrew or this, that. My brothers and sisters, watch the hand of the Almighty Father bring correction. Watch destruction come to those that must be removed. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let me present these words before I end. Matthew 12, 29 and 30. Matthew 12, 29 and 30 reads, Oh, how is one able to enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods, unless he first binds the strong man, and then he shall plunder his house? He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters abroad. My brothers and sisters, make no mistake, dead center in the midst of the crosshairs are those who will be gathered, those who will be protected, those who will go to sleep, and those who will face vengeance and wrath. And there will be those who will be disciplined and refined. In such manner, we will shout, Hallelujah. My brothers and sisters, understand this. The Almighty Father expects much of us in these final days. Believe it or not, many leaders will fall. They will die. Prepare to say our goodbyes. I would challenge you and encourage you to ask your pastor, your community head, your deacon, your priest, your bishop. See if you can get a meeting with them face to face, one-on-one, and ask them what would be the words they would say to you in the event that they should pass or die. or in the event you were to depart them from them, or they were to be moved away from you? What words would they give you? Ask yourself, what words have they given you? Are they busy talking about what they did, what they done, showing you stuff and things, or how large their camp or community is? Or are they pointing you to Yahusha to learn how to obey him, how to discern his voice, how to read and study the scriptures and seek the Most High to make them alive? You see, so many people say, show me the script, show me the script. And they don't understand that the way we have been taught how to comprehend and read, whatever area of this planet we grew up in, we were influenced and taught how to comprehend and read. And that was programming that's induced into our brain. But we have an inward man, O Yashar'al. Discover that inward man. Discover the presence of the Almighty Father's Spirit within you. Discover him working in you, and through others to strengthen you. Are you receiving instructions that make this clear? For when we learn to walk in obedience, when we walk as living targets for the Spirit of Yahuah to work in us and through us, when we walk within his crosshairs, doing the things he would want us to do to protect us, and not at the place or point where destruction comes, we can shout hallelujah, and we will shout hallelujah. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, be advised, there are differences between fear-mongering versus the fear of the Almighty Yahuah. There are those who listen to some of these messages and say, he like the fearmonger. And they stretch that and exaggerate that word so often that they remove from Yashar'al the sense of urgency in preparation for this final exodus and preparation for these final days. When we fear Yahuah, then we give pause to the teachings that come before us. We give pause to our initial interpretation of Scripture. We pause and look up to the Almighty Father and trust that in Yahusha's name, he will bring the Scriptures alive and bring the things to our mind and spirit that contribute towards making Yashar'al whole. The fear of Yahuah. It is the beginning of knowledge, the knowledge that Yahuah wants us to have to complete successfully what he has designated for us to do. And it says, fools despise wisdom and discipline. You see, so don't be quick to just be absorbed by somebody saying he's trying to fearmonger. Let the words I present the realities of what has been prophesied and what is expected to come. Fear Yahuah and begin to discern what he's saying directly to you through another or as the scriptures come alive. But there is a fear that we should not have, and that's fearing what man can do. Consider Matthew 10:28 as I come to an end. Matthew 10:28 says this, do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, you might say he was redundant. I got it the first few minutes of this most. But as one waters a plant, if the plant say enough water and rejected the water, and the sun beamed down and dried up the plant right away, the plant be wishing for more water. Sure, can you overwater something? Sure you can. But I say this, O Yashar'al, just as a siren or warning goes over and over, and it's redundant and repetitive, it reinforces, it strengthens. It contributes towards programming these earthen vessels to accept what is necessary in these end times. Bullseyes, crosshairs, precision. Are we functioning with precision, O Yashar'al? Are we in compromising camps and communities fellowships, and groups. If you are indeed drawn by the Almighty Father, trust that discipline comes. It can be from the subtleness of discipline to the extreme of sickness and in death. Do we really want to tempt the Almighty Father? Let us begin to witness a sense of urgency growing among the set-apart children. And let us begin to move in closer proximity to one another in preparation for this final exodus. Stay tuned, O Yashar'al. Details and processes will be presented, more than what I've presented already. All that is expected will be made clear. And no prophecy is of any private interpretation. But there are others, and there are those among us who will bear witness to these words, who will confirm and reaffirm these messages, as would I to them. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, get connected, get involved. Help me, my brother and sister. Help me. Bring your abilities as we gather. Make known your talents. Bring your resources to those who have found favor from the Almighty Father. Contribute financial help. If indeed the Almighty Father has given you favor and you've come across money that you feel that you don't know what else you could do to help, Cash App, White Rose Family. You can use that. Or email me. Visit Yah's Watchman. There's a contact form. Reach out. Send me a message. I will respond. Send a message in the comment. And I will respond to you, O Yashar'al. Help me. Help me, O Yashar'al. I believe help is coming. And I believe the scriptures tell us to ask for help. Will you be one who have heard these words and ignored it? And you just said, one of my servants asked you and you turned your back. Maybe so, maybe not so much. But I believe the Almighty Father, hardened hearts and softened hearts. I find joy and comfort in the path that I'm taking, in the direction that I'm going. Soon and very soon, O Yashar'al, we will be on that ship, those of the Western Hemisphere, those from various other geographic locations that require a ship's journey. We will see the realities of end-time prophecies like never before. Rise up, O Yashar'al. I salute your patience, your tolerance. I salute your pursuit of set-apartness. I pray for your good health. I pray, my brother and sister, that you have the strength to endure whatsoever state you are in physically, that you have the strength to endure and hold fast to the promises of the Almighty Father. On that note, I say to you, children of Yahuah, children of the Almighty Father, both Hebrews and Gentiles, drawn by him to Yahusha Mashiach, let our obedience reflect lifting Yahusha up, and we witness him drawing all men to himself. And this is how we find ourselves coming together and being made whole. In the name of Yahusha, I come to you. My name is Symmanayah, and I say to you, stay tuned. There's much more to come. Shalum.